Well, hello, dear viewers. Welcome to another episode of Shaboque. It's an absolutely beautiful day today. Sun is shining. It's probably about 75 degrees out today. Absolutely gorgeous. You know what that means? Time to get to work back here in the shop. Can't wait. Been looking forward to it. I've enjoyed getting those indoor projects checked off the list. That's really been great. But you know what? I've really been itching to get back here to the workshop and get a little bit more work done on this. So, on today's agenda, we got to get a couple of projects done here in the shop so that we can get back to work. The top of that list is my table saw. I really need to get that thing back up and running. As you saw a couple episodes ago, I disconnected that little table that held my table saw to my workbench. In today's episode, we're going to finally do that modification to that table saw table. We're going to shrink it down a little bit. We're going to put it on 4 wheels, and then we're going to have to figure out a way that it can connect to my workbench so that when I'm making those cuts, they can be connected, but then I can disconnect them to put it away for storage. Anyways, that's what the project is. Before we get started, you guys know what to do. Go grab your favorite cup of cappuccino, maybe a Smooth Moves tea, or even a Pepsi. Don't forget to turn the volume up. Sit back, relax, and let's get started. I've got a couple of projects planned. First up on the list is it's time to get my table saw back up and running. After that, we're going to go ahead and cut some wood through it. Let me go ahead and show you where that wood's going to go here on the shop. All right, guys, so here we are over on the cook shack. Peas wanted to come visit us for this one. So here's what we're going to be doing on the workshop. We're going to be rebuilding this exact same look right here. We're going to have this railing. We're going to have these dividers. And then we're also going to have the 10 that we put in here. Just like this. It's going to be the same height and the same construction of it. But I'm going to duplicate this look over onto the workshop. Let me show you over there. Okay, here we go. Like I said, right about here is where we're going to be going ahead and putting that same railing. It's going to be coming across on the edges here and all the way down. It's going to obviously skip the door. And we're going to go around the entire building with that same look right there. And so we're going to be using the table saw to cut out all of the wood strips that are going to be attached to the wall. Okay, with all that talking out of the way, let's get to work already. First off, we need to disassemble the old cart that the table saw was on, so I can use the leftover pieces to rebuild the new cart. Taking some measurements here of the table saw so that I can build this thing to fit exactly the dimensions of it. Since this was one of my first projects in the new shop and things really aren't where they're going to go in their final place, and I've tried to organize stuff the best I can, there's still getting used to it when you're working on a project. So you'll see me kind of stumbling around here trying to find what I need and what I need to do next, and welcome to Shaboque. If you couldn't tell, I didn't have a really clear-cut plan going into this. I just knew that I wanted to modify the existing one or take the leftover pieces and create a new bench. So you'll see a lot of head scratching and deciphering going on here. And well, that's because most of the stuff that I don't do it with a plan. So that's the way it goes. You can almost see in real time me working these pieces like Tetris because, like I said, no plan. Just trying to figure out what the best way to move forward with the project is with the stuff that I have. So you're probably not asking yourself right now, why am I not using my miter saw in order to be building this thing? Well, first off, I would say that is very observant of you. And secondarily, it is because actually right now I am in between miter saws. Yes, when I bought my other miter saw that you've seen in the videos, it's that red Milwaukee one, I didn't plan on moving all of my stuff out to this new shop. So I purchased the biggest, baddest miter saw that I could find, only to realize later it's going to be way too big for this shop. So I sold it, and I am currently in the process of acquiring a new one. So in the meantime, I've got to make do with what I've got. So I've still got plenty of toys laying around that I can make this still work. you'll notice on all of my cuts I get out my orange square and I use it to actually slide my saw along that in order to get a nice square cut instead of trying to freehand down the line. That's how I kind of cheat without having a miter saw. Alright, well you can see the base is starting to take shape. Up next on the agenda is to make 2 more of the uprights that I'm going to point out right there. So we're going to pull some measurements and get back to cutting. Everybody writes their measurements on wood, right? Nature's paper. What are you gonna do? You know, the really dumb part about this is I do have a pencil sharpener. It's underneath my workbench right there. I just completely forgot about it. I love clamps. These things are my absolute best friend. does it for the frame. Time to put the 2 casters on, and then we'll focus on getting the tabletop done. We officially have liftoff. Let's go ahead and give it the old will it hold me test. Alright. Looks like it passed the doesn't collapse when I put all my weight on it. Check. Let's check if it's level. Good. What about the other way? Oh yeah, I'll take it. Quick check to make sure I got my dimensions right. Let's go ahead and take her out for a little spin. Looks good. Now let's make sure that it still matches up to the table. Once we put that tabletop on, it'll match perfect. Speaking of which, let's figure out how to modify its old tabletop to fit. So I'm going to go ahead and use my table saw on top of my workbench to make a very precarious cut or two here. Maybe 3 cuts. Cool. Starting to come together. Everything fitting really well here. Not bad. But we got to get this thing screwed down. There's a little bit of a lip on one of the 2x4s here, making the tabletop not sit flush. So quick zip with the old oscillating multi-tool and problem solved. time to put the last few screws into the tabletop here, get it all nice and secured, and then it's time for the table saw to meet his new home. Well, there we go, guys. We got the little table saw table put together. Not bad. Really happy with that. You saw that it was level, so that's always good. I still got to come up with a better way to hook it to my main table right there and also connect the table saw down to its new little table. But at least we got the hard part out of the way, got the little table constructed. And so now we can get back to cutting, get those strips cut that I was showing you guys earlier and get back to work on this workshop. So I'm really happy to have that up and running and capable of using my table saw again. It's been not fun not having my power tools. So it's always good to piece it slowly back together. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this little episode. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys watching and I'll see you next time.